So it all starts with a deep longing, a desire to bring more financial abundance into your life, right? Perhaps you dream of wealth, financial freedom, or the ability to give more to your family, to your friends. So eager and hopeful, you dive headfirst into the world of manifestation. You discover various techniques, from the law of attraction to Nevillegoddard's law of assumption, and all of these different kinds of techniques and teachings. So now you're full of enthusiasm. You begin crafting affirmations, visualizing scenarios of wealth, and trying to embody the feeling of being financially free, financially prosperous. Now, before we go down this rabbit hole, I am Dr. Anilareddy, your favorite manifestation and presence coach, for my new course on increasing your abundance and financial resources. Check out my experience called More Than Enough, linked in the description below. And if you want one-on-one coaching, you can email me at hello@anilareddy.com. And so coming back to this, let's tune in to a scenario of what this journey, this manifesting journey, looks like for you, at least in the beginning. So take Alex, for instance, right? Alex dreams of financial security and abundance. He stumbles upon manifestation techniques, law of assumption, and he feels like he's found a gold mine. He spends his evenings visualizing himself with an overflowing bank account, affirming for his financial worth, listening to wealth meditations, wealth subliminals, affirmations. His heart feels light and hope fills his days. Now, small signs start to appear. Unexpected discounts, a bonus at work. Now, Alex feels like he's on the right path. Now, change the gender however you want in this story. But however, as time goes on, despite some small successes, the larger goal of significant financial wealth remains just out of reach. Patterns begin to emerge. Alex feels overlooked, underappreciated, and sometimes even exploited in his job or by the people around him, maybe his family or friends. He starts to feel like an afterthought in the financial universe. He's become desperate for more concrete results, and now he dives deeper into the ocean of advice, right? He buys books, joins online groups, Reddit, and even invests in a high $10,000 program, which is fine. It's fine. The coach insists that he's not doing enough affirmations or lacks commitment. Every spare moment should be spent affirming, they say. Stop telling your old story. Stop it. Don't message me your old story. That's what they're saying. Dive into yourself. Heal your every wound. Shadow work, inner child healing, and the list goes on. This path becomes, consuming. Alex's life is now a constant whirlwind of techniques and methods. He feels a growing dissatisfaction that even when he does achieve small financial gains, or what he calls small, they don't bring the fulfillment he expected. And some other coaches say now, in this moment, be delusional. When everything else fails, be delusional. Pushing him towards a kind of forced detachment that feels unnatural and naturally unsustainable. So in a moment of exhaustion, Alex considers giving up. He relaxes his grip on the desire, and then something shifts. A small, unexpected windfall, a slight increase in his income. Money comes in, unexpected resources, a sign that things might be moving. This experience leads him to believe a new hypothesis. Maybe detaching from the outcome is the key. Yet this also spirals into a new cycle of techniques aimed at maintaining detachment, paradoxically becoming just another set of actions. So the real problem with manifesting is not the act of manifestation or manifesting itself. It's not about the specific techniques or methods you're using that is the problem. The issue lies in where these actions and efforts are coming from. When we don't see that we are operating from our separate self, we end up in conflict with ourselves. This separate self is just a bunch of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, an idea in our minds that we mistakenly believe is who we truly are. This separate self feels lacking, it feels incomplete. You might hear it called the ego self or the false self or the state of lack. It constantly feels isolated and thinks it needs to improve. It's that voice inside that tells you that you're not enough as you are, making you chase after external things to feel complete, to feel whole. So when we operate from a sense of separation, we end up battling our own thoughts and emotions. So we try to correct our emotions, turn negative thoughts into positive ones, and rely on tools like affirmations, subliminal tapes, affirmation tapes, scripting, visualizing, and an endless stream of manifestation techniques and self-help content. So all these efforts stem from the belief that we need to become something more, a better, more actualized version of ourselves, a better, amazing version of ourselves. This often leads us to mistakenly think that we have to give up on our desires to find peace or to even experience a good life. So let's just take the process of trying to manifest wealth, for instance. You might begin by affirming your worthiness of financial abundance and picturing a prosperous life. At first, yeah, you can feel uplifted. You might feel relief as you imagine the wealth you desire. You might even see small signs that your efforts are working. You're like, this works, guys. Let's keep doing it. You motivate each other. Like receiving an unexpected sum of money. However, when old worries or negative thoughts resurface, the foundation you thought was solid begins to shake. Suddenly, you start questioning everything. Am I doing this correctly? Is this right? Maybe I should improve something. Why am I not feeling happy or excited or fulfilled all the time if I am in the correct or the right state? Why hasn't my financial situation drastically improved yet? This cycle of striving and disappointment happens because we are trying to fix ourselves from the outside in. You're trying to fix yourself. We think that if we just follow the right steps to change our thoughts enough, we'll become the person who we want, or the person that has whatever that we want. But this approach keeps us stuck in a loop, always chasing, never quite acquiring, never quite arriving either. So instead, what we need to realize is that we don't have to become anything more. Our true self, this neutral nature, is already whole and complete. When we start from this place of completeness, our efforts or actions come from a place of peace and fulfillment, not from a place of lack. This shift changes everything in our manifestation game. It really ups your game. So this turmoil that we're facing, that you are facing, often results from a misunderstanding. The separate self or the ego insists that for things to be going right, every event, thought, and feeling must feel and be positive, uplifting, good. But this is a trap. This belief system fails to recognize that every experience, whether we call it good or bad, by the separate self, is guiding you towards your true desires. It is literally taking you to your desires. So every setback, every moment of doubt is not a barrier, it's a bridge. If only the ego or the separate self could see it. So you see, it's only the separate self that calls an event or circumstance a setback, failure, or doubtful. So when you are deeply identified with the ego, with the separate self, you might find yourself making a lot of effort to maintain a state by being super focused, trying to be focused on having your desire, being positive, always having your desire constantly replaying, or becoming the ideal version of yourself that you think is necessary to attract your desires. This might include trying to suppress your negative thoughts or trying to boost your mood, artificially or otherwise. But what happens when reality does not conform to this very carefully selected mental state? What happens, guys? What happens? You feel convinced that financial success is slipping away. And so you might feel the need to work harder, confirming the separate self's fear that you must struggle to earn money. So the cycle of feeling disappointed and then working hard, it keeps persisting because the fundamental issue is not being addressed. You're not addressing it. The mistaken identity as a separate self, which is needy. This separate self's insistence on differentiating experiences into good and bad, and its inability to recognize that everything, every experience, every thought is inherently a part of your journey towards fulfillment, keeps you trapped in a cycle of conditional happiness, conditional living, and perpetually striving, constantly chasing one financial goal after another, just chasing different things. So the shift begins when you question this identity. Who are you really? Are you truly just a bunch of thoughts and emotions reacting to the world? Or is there something beyond this, something deeper, something more fundamental, something natural to your nature? So here's a simple way to explore this through my guided pauses. So pause and ask yourself, am I aware? Notice that the answer is an immediate yes. You can't go wrong in this. Now ask yourself, am I aware of being aware? Again, the answer is yes. Look how we're not trying to believe this, you're just noticing. This brings this recognition. It gets you into direct contact with your true nature, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. This is the I am presence, your fundamental state of being that is inherently connected to every single thing and person. In this recognition, techniques like visualization and affirmations changes. They no longer act as tools to bridge a gap between you and your desire, but they simply acknowledge what is inherently true. For instance, instead of repeatedly affirming, I have $1,000, I have $1,000, I am wealthy and prosperous, to combat feelings of lack, you understand that you are abundance itself. There is nothing missing in your true nature. This is not an idea to be convinced of, because it is a reality to be acknowledged. You are this reality. Here, your desires align naturally with reality, because reality is who you are. You don't need to force or fake it. The affirmation, I am abundant, money comes from me, from different sources, shifts from a plea to a recognition of your interconnectedness with all of life, including financial resources. So in this space, there's no desperation. It's just a peaceful knowing, a peaceful recognition of who you truly are. And by the way, I go into various activities in my new course, More Than Enough, to get you to recognize this experientially as well. It's in the description box below, or the comment below. So living from this place of awareness changes everything. You see life not as a series of barriers to overcome, but as a manifestation of resting in your true self, which is the God self, which is abundance, which is reality. So challenges are just opportunities to reaffirm your connection with your innate essence. Financial desires now, for you, they're not fulfilled because you manipulated reality to your will, but because you rested in your true nature, which is the flow of life, right? So this understanding doesn't just change how you manifest. It changes the way you live. And living is a manifestation. So each moment is an opportunity to rest in your true nature, to live out the truth of your being. You find that the world is not something separate from you, orchestrating events for you or against you. Instead, it's an expression of the same life force that you're a part of. You are not trying to attract or pull things towards you or manifest them from nothing or from thin air. You are recognizing that you are already everything you desire to be. Okay, so let's look at another scenario, like Emma, who applied the shift in her manifesting journey. Emma initially felt the need to control every aspect of her financial life, from her career to her investments to the way she spends or gives to people. She constantly affirmed, visualized, followed every technique to the letter. Yet she often found herself exhausted, disheartened, tired, wondering why her biggest financial goals remained out of reach and why her other goals would just come out of nowhere. All other life goals would show up. So one day Emma decided to pause. She questioned the very identity that striving was so hard for change. In that moment of reflecting that she was beyond this identity, she realized that her true nature was not the separate striving self, but the aware presence that has been witnessing all these actions. So this recognition shifted her approach completely. So instead of desperately trying to manifest wealth, she began to live from the awareness, which is her true self, recognizing that she is reality. Sure, she affirmed time to time, but these activities now came from a place of recognizing her inherent abundance, not something she needed to convince herself of. So naturally, her financial situation began to improve without the forced effort and strain she had previously experienced. She no longer felt the need to go after money. Instead, she allowed it to flow into her life from various avenues, she recognizing that she was already abundant in her true nature. So, again, it doesn't mean that when you come from this place that you will never face unwanted emotions or that your desires would die. No, it means you approach them from a place of wholeness rather than lack. You no longer see any of your desires outside of yourself that you need to gain, but just an extension of your true nature. So every day you get to come back to this recognition as often as possible by asking these guided pause questions. You begin to notice how you find opportunities, how abundance shows up in your life in various ways. It doesn't matter if it's a free coffee, to a bigger goal, to money from different resources. You begin to enjoy recognizing the unfolding of the richness of who you truly are. So when you are living from this place, you free yourself from this endless cycle of striving, feeling disappointed, chasing once again. You rest in a state of flow, where wealth and resources are naturally drawn to you as reflections of your inner abundance. So just be here now. Allow yourself to pause, rest, and experience from the place of your true self. Recognize that you are already everything you desire to be. In this space, financial abundance is not a goal that is going to arrive tomorrow, or 6 weeks from now, or 3 days. But it's your natural state of being. It's just your way of life. So the path to financial abundance starts and ends with the recognition of your true nature. It's not about endlessly going after techniques or being disciplined or having the greatest willpower. No, it's about understanding and living from the awareness that you're already whole, already abundant. So when you make the shift, you align with really everything that you're looking for, allowing what you truly desire, the wealth and the resources, to manifest in your experience without much struggle. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below.